Friends, we need to talk about a shocking turn of events involving one of the music industry's biggest stars. Earlier this year, rapper A$AP Rocky was arrested and charged with a horrific crime against his girlfriend, the equally iconic Rihanna. And just last week, the verdict came in. A$AP Rocky has been sentenced to 7 long years in prison. This is a story that has rocked the entertainment world and left fans reeling. How could this happen? What led to such a devastating outcome? In this video, we're going to take an in-depth look at the details of this case, the evidence that was presented, and the lasting impact it will have. By the end, I hope you'll understand just how tragic this situation is, and why it's a stark reminder that no one is above the law, no matter how rich and famous they may be. Now, I know this is a heavy topic, but I also believe it's an important one that deserves our attention. So if you're ready, let's dive in. And if you find this video informative or impactful, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. I promise I'll continue bringing you the latest news and analysis on this story and others that matter. Okay, let's get started. It was supposed to be a night of romance and celebration. On May 18, 2023, global superstars A$AP Rocky and Rihanna were enjoying a night out in Los Angeles. By all accounts, the two were happier than ever. Just weeks earlier, they had announced that they were expecting their first child together. But something went terribly wrong that night. According to eyewitness reports and security camera footage, an argument broke out between the couple as they were leaving a high-end restaurant. The details are still murky, but it seems Rocky became enraged and physically assaulted Rihanna in the parking lot. Witnesses say Rocky pushed Rihanna to the ground and began violently kicking her. Rihanna reportedly tried to flee, but Rocky chased her down and continued the attack. At one point, he allegedly picked up a metal pipe that was lying nearby and struck Rihanna in the head with it. The entire brutal assault lasted several minutes before bystanders were finally able to intervene and call the police. When authorities arrived on the scene, they found Rihanna unconscious and bleeding profusely. She was rushed to a nearby hospital in critical condition. Rocky, meanwhile, was arrested on the spot and taken into custody. In the days that followed, the details of the attack only grew more horrific. Doctors revealed that Rihanna had suffered a traumatic brain injury, multiple broken bones, and severe lacerations. She remained in a medically induced coma for over a week as doctors fought to save her life. The entertainment world was absolutely shattered by the news. Rihanna, one of the most beloved and influential artists of our time, had been the victim of a savage attack by her own partner. Fans, fellow musicians, and industry leaders all expressed their shock and outrage. Many wondered how something like this could have happened. As the investigation unfolded, prosecutors revealed that this was not an isolated incident. Apparently, Rocky had a history of domestic violence, with multiple previous allegations made by former partners. The evidence suggested a pattern of abusive and controlling behavior that had finally culminated in this nearly fatal assault. Given the severity of Rihanna's injuries and the overwhelming evidence against him, prosecutors moved swiftly to bring A$AP Rocky to trial. The proceedings began in late 2023 and captivated the public's attention for weeks on end. Throughout the trial, the prosecution painted a harrowing picture of Rocky's actions that fateful night. Witness testimonies, security footage, and medical records all pointed to a brutal, premeditated attack. Rihanna herself, once she had recovered enough to testify, recounted the terror she experienced as Rocky rained blows down on her. The defense, for their part, attempted to argue that Rocky had acted in self-defense, that Rihanna had initiated the physical altercation and he had merely retaliated. However, the evidence simply didn't support this narrative. Numerous eyewitnesses confirmed that Rocky was the clear aggressor, and that Rihanna had made multiple attempts to flee before he caught up with her. As the trial drew to a close, the prosecution made a passionate plea for justice. They argued that Rocky's actions were inexcusable and deserving of the maximum possible sentence. Given Rihanna's near-fatal injuries and Rocky's history of abuse, they claimed he posed a grave danger to the public and needed to be removed from society for a very long time. In their closing arguments, the defense team countered that a lengthy prison sentence would be an overly harsh punishment. They claimed Rocky was truly remorseful for his actions and deserved leniency, perhaps even just probation. After all, they argued, he was a first-time offender with an otherwise clean record. But in the end, the jury was not swayed. After deliberating for several days, they returned a unanimous verdict. A$AP Rocky was found guilty on all charges, including aggravated assault and attempted murder. When the judge finally pronounced the sentence, the courtroom erupted in shock and outrage. A$AP Rocky, a once beloved figure in the music world, was ordered to serve 7 years in a maximum security prison. The judge made it clear that this was not a decision made lightly. In his scathing remarks, he condemned Rocky's heinous and unforgivable actions, stating that the severity of the crime demanded a severe punishment. He noted Rocky's history of abuse and the life-altering injuries he had inflicted on Rihanna. And he emphasized that as a public figure with immense wealth and privilege, Rocky had a responsibility to be a role model, a responsibility he had shamefully betrayed. In the end, the judge's message was unmistakable. No one, no matter how famous or wealthy, is above the law. Domestic violence will be met with the full force of justice. The fallout from A$AP Rocky's sentencing has been seismic. Rihanna, who miraculously survived the brutal assault, has understandably retreated from the public eye as she continues her recovery. In a brief statement, she thanked her fans for their unwavering support and expressed her hope that this case would inspire others to speak out against domestic abuse. For Rocky's part, he has maintained his innocence and vowed to appeal the verdict. His legal team has argued that the judge and jury were unduly influenced by the intense media scrutiny and public outcry surrounding the case. They claim Rocky was denied a fair trial. However, legal experts have largely dismissed these claims, noting that the evidence against Rocky was simply overwhelming. The security footage, witness accounts, and medical records all painted a crystal-clear picture of his guilt. And his history of prior abuse allegations only further corroborated the prosecution's case. As Rocky begins serving his 7-year sentence, the music industry and his legion of fans have been left reeling. Many have expressed shock and disappointment, unable to reconcile the A$AP Rocky they knew and loved with the abusive, violent individual revealed in court. Some have even called for the complete erasure of Rocky's legacy, demanding that his music be removed from streaming platforms and radio playlists. There have been protests outside of his record label's offices, with fans burning Rocky merchandise and calling for boycotts. The once revered rapper has been swiftly and emphatically canceled. Of course, there are also those who continue to staunchly defend Rocky, insisting that the justice system failed him and that he is being unjustly punished. These die-hard fans have taken to social media to wage a relentless campaign, flooding platforms with #FreeASAPRocky hashtags and conspiracy theories about a supposed witch hunt against their idol. But for the vast majority of the public, Rocky's sentencing has served as a sobering wake-up call. It's a stark reminder that even the rich and famous are not immune to the consequences of their actions. And it's a powerful testament to the growing intolerance for domestic violence, even when the perpetrator is a beloved celebrity. In the weeks since the verdict, many have praised the judge's unyielding commitment to justice. They've lauded the prosecution for their meticulous investigation and trial strategy. And they've celebrated Rihanna's bravery in speaking out and seeking accountability. Indeed, Rihanna's resilience in the face of such trauma has been truly inspiring. In a recent interview, she vowed to use her platform to raise awareness about domestic abuse.